So before we go to the tough questions, I would ask each of you to introduce yourself within like 30 seconds. And we will start with the Soumaya ladies first. So.
Thank you. So hello everyone, I'm super excited to be here. So I'm Soumaya Beya, I'm a partner with Rasmal Ventures. It's a GCC-based venture capital fund. We're headquartered in Qatar, we have offices in Saudi Arabia, and we are a $100 million fund that invests across the entire MENA region. We keep 20% of our fund to invest opportunistically everywhere else. So we are very excited when we see also international companies that come to this part of the world where we can be valuable investors for them.
Thank you.
Hello guys, it is Yağiz. I am the managing partner of DOMiNO Ventures. First of all, I want to begin with thanks to George and the panelists, but thanks to GTVT team, because it's like every time when I come to Georgia, they're doing the best events. Everything is great and the fun and the place is cozy and it's great. I'm the managing partner of DOMiNO Ventures. We invest in Turkey, Eastern Europe, and Central Asia. We already invested 20 startups in the region. We have been doing that business for 8 years, and we have also past ones. Totally, we invested 70 startups. We have 4 exits, good numbers. We are seed and early stage. We invest in the sector agnostic areas. So it's pretty good to be here. Just 1.5 years ago, maybe we decided to invest Central Eurasia, Central Asia and Caucasus. So Georgia is, the great market for us. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm truly glad to be here. Thank you for the organizers for organizing such a well-run and great event. My name is Abay. I'm a managing partner at Silkroad Angels Club. Also, I have a privilege of serving as a brand ambassador of GTVT. So, our Angel Club, we're a community of angel investors from Central Eurasia. We invest in US-based startups. Most of our portfolio is made up of founders from Central Eurasian region. And we are operating under the umbrella of the Silkroad Innovation Hub, which is based in Silicon Valley. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ivaylo and I'm a tech entrepreneur myself. For the past 25-30 years, I created a dozen companies. Some of them I sold, some of them bankrupted, and some of them still pay the bills while I travel the world and come here to speak with you. Meanwhile, for the past 4 years, I'm responsible for the Central and Eastern Europe region of the Founder Institute Accelerator, which is, if you don't know, the biggest pre-seed startup accelerator in the world. We are everywhere, over 100 countries, over 200 cities. We've been doing this for 15 years, and we helped about 10,000 companies so far. So I personally worked with over 1,000 startups for the past 3-4 years, so I have a couple of things to say about startups in this region, hopefully.
Thank you. Okay, let's move to our topic. I will gonna be using a little bit of cheat sheet because I prepared a little difficult questions, as my panelists were saying before this talk. But basically, we know that the Silicon Valley was the major place for developing the unicorns. And now the idea is to talk a little bit about how we can challenge that. So how the emerging markets can challenge the Silicon Valley and generate the unicorns outside the Silicon Valley. So my first question goes to basically to Soumaya and Yağiz. So beyond the talent, like cheaper talent that we have in emerging markets and some larger consumer base, what is the fundamentally new under reserved problems in your respective emerging markets that the startup founders can kind of approach, solve, and then make the money on that?
Well, there is everything to do. This is the great thing about our emerging markets. There is everything to do, and we're seeing more and more talent interested to be coming after they travel the world and have so many knowledge and experience to fix those problems. So as a venture capital fund, obviously we did our homework. We're agnostic, so we look at everything, but we also did our homework, and there are a few sectors that we really think have a lot of potential in the MENA region. So in our case, we focus on the MENA region, and specifically we're based in the GCC, so I'm speaking from that angle, right? So I'm not sure if you're aware, but the GCC countries, and some others maybe, but in the GCC, every country, Qatar, UAE, Saudi, they defined visions that they called 2030 visions. And those visions came from the top management and top government leaders to give a vision and a clear road for what to do next. And those visions focused so much about tech and so much about digitizing all sectors, so much about fintech. I'm sorry to repeat it every year, but it's still a very important sector and there is still so much to do in the region. Healthcare, sustainability, climate tech, we're one of the first impacted there, and also food dependency. We import almost everything we consume in the GCC. So everything around agriculture, development of that sector is very important. So when you look at those vision of 2030 and you look at what's common between the GCC, those sectors come back again and again and again. And the good news is that there is not only means and openness from inside those countries to empower those sectors, but also there is openness to have international companies coming to help solve those problems, which is a momentum that we are experiencing in the region, because we were not sure at a certain point whether we are happy onboarding international companies, whether we're happy just supporting the ones that are local. So now it's public, it's out there. All programs from all those regions are supporting those sectors to grow faster.
Hello again. It's like in Central Asia and Caucasus, there are two type of startups. First of them is like global, the local version of the global unicorns. And second, the startups that burn with the local problems. For the first startup case, the founders are trying to combine with the local market and the global unicorns model. So that's pretty important for the market. At the second version of the startup, the local problem startup, for example, generally in Turkey we are having some agriculture problem because the farmers doesn't earn money. There are too much middlemen. But it's a traditional market. We couldn't solve that problem in a years. But in emerging markets, to solve that problem, you need $5 million maybe. So as a DOMiNO Ventures, as our strategy is to focus the sectors we are focusing on not the sectors, we are focusing on domain expertise. Because the thing is in the market, in the market generally, we want to invest, we want to find the best teams, the best founders in every sectors. Maybe minimum 10 years, 15 years experience, domain expertise in the market. And in the last period, we are trying to invest business that we don't understand. In the very first meeting, if you don't understand the business as a VC, that's the best deal for us, believe me. Because the market is new and we are trying to solve the problem.
Okay, let me give you the quick follow-on question to both of you. So, can you explain how you find the problems and the solutions which Western VCs is overlooked? What is your small recipe? Please tell everyone.
Yes. So internally we like to think that it's both sides. We receive. We go to conferences from 7 to 7. Our daily job, what excites us the most, is the best job on the planet to meet the smartest people in the world. We keep meeting them on a daily basis. We go to conferences, we do all those things, we get recommendations from friends, etc. So that's great. But also one thing that we do internally is that we do it on the other side. So we have strong partnerships with corporates. We have strong relationship with major LPs in our cap table. And with them, we really brainstorm almost on a monthly basis on what is needed now for what they're doing? Where is the trend, the sector that we need to be focusing on? And we go and do it the opposite way, where are there companies doing this? Where are they now? Just scouting from a proactive way as well, I think is very, very important. And now we made few investments, I would say 30% of the pipeline that we have, and that is super interesting, is a proactive way where we were hinted by one of the partner players that this is the next thing in my telco industry. Go and check out what's happening here. And we go and do the research and try to find good ones. So it's a mixture of both, I would say. And maybe one last thing, by experience in this field, the recommendations from your circle of trust, from the people that you work with years after years, where they're entrepreneurs that you invested in, they come to you and recommend you others, are the best usually recommendations and the strongest ones, because there is that layer of trust and that layer of credibility where I will never recommend you a company unless I put my own money in it as well.
Very good.
I have a confession about being VC first. It's like, for the domain expertise side, the VCs, I've been doing that business for 8 years, but when you look the VC profile, you can talk with them 30 minutes, everything, about every sector. And in that 30 minutes, you can think that, okay, this VC knows everything, wow, how? But very 31st minutes, after 30 minutes, you understand that this guy, doesn't know the business. So the thing is about being a VC, we know everything a little bit. So for that reason, the VCs are intellectual people. So for to just realize that the vision of that product, we always have to talk, read, we have to, do with business with the partners. And as a VC, as an emerging VC, this is pretty important. We have to work with the founders at the very first stage. Because the thing is, in our market, we don't have too much VC, we don't have too much money, we don't have too much startups. So that's why, to realize the real potential, even we don't invest, we have to support our potential founders as a VC, as a team. So this is how we realize the potential. This is how we just explain and how we understand the new markets in the region.
Okay, thank you. Abay, I would go to you, and you are bridging the Central Eurasia capital with the Silicon Valley. Can you give us something which is the Silicon Valley ingredient that we can either adopt here in emerging markets or totally reinvent?
Okay, George, thanks for your question. It's a really good question. I think that the secret sauce of Silicon Valley is a kind of unique combination of talents, capital, infrastructure, and legislation. And this model has been evolving over the last century. And I think it's almost impossible to replicate this ecosystem here in our emerging markets, in our region. I think that we should focus on what we have. There are some strengths and weaknesses in our region. For example, what is positive? I see that there is a growing number of talented engineers and entrepreneurs in our region. I see that venture capital ecosystem is also developing. I see that there is a huge support from governments, from IT hubs for developing of this startup ecosystem. And I see that the legislation framework is also improving. But on the other side, there are some disadvantages. Actually, our kind of capacity of our markets is small. It's a big challenge. The venture capital ecosystem is not matured yet, and the funding chain is not developed yet. For example, it's difficult to raise for our founders Series B, C, D, etc. in our markets. They should go to large markets such as US, for example. What I think how we should overcome these challenges, we should encourage our startup founders to build global products and support them in this journey by providing them initial capital, trainings, mentorship, help them with network. And I think that most of the support should come from diaspora communities around the globe. And that's exactly what we do at Silkroad Innovation Hub and Silkroad Angels Club. We support our founders with capital, with network, and help them to succeed in Silicon Valley, enter the US market, and expand globally.
I would have a kind of follow-on question. You talked a lot about the infrastructure, some issues. We will talk about the solutions meanwhile, but the question is that is there anything that in a Silicon Valley model, basically I'm in this area for about more than 10 years, and everyone talks about the lack of innovation in emerging markets. So is there anything that we can do from the Silicon Valley model to foster the innovation in the region?
In my view, I think we should kind of implement a founder-centric approach. We should support, as we can, founders. I think this is the main thing, to provide them with capital, with infrastructure, again, networking and other stuff. The main goal here is to support founders. We shouldn't develop legislation for the sake of legislation. We should develop this stuff to help founders to easily fundraise money, to easily launch their kind of startups.
Okay, I'm now going to the Ivaylo. So you spend a lot of time with the early stage startups. So can you tell us a little bit of some counterintuitive lessons that you learned with the startups in a CE region?
Okay, that one is a difficult one. Okay, so first of all, in this region, I've been there this year, pretty much every country. And I sit on the table with the guys and I'm just listening. And this is what I hear. We are a small country. We are very specific people. We don't do things well. We are a small market. There is not enough money in our country. And I hear this when I sit on a table in Bulgaria, in Serbia, in Hungary, and then Romania, and Poland. And those are 40 million people. So the counterintuitive thing is, we believe we are different, but when we sit on the table and talk about our problems, we say exactly the same things. It kind of feels like this when I'm here as well. This is the first thing. We believe that we are very different and specific, but maybe we have more things in common that we actually realize. And this might help us combine our regions, our countries into a region and start looking at ourselves as a number of people. For example, the Southeastern Europe region, when we look at ourselves as a region, not as individual countries, there are enough people to form a good market. So that's just an idea. The other counterintuitive thing is that when you look at founders, most of the times we think of those guys as the most intelligent guys that are clever, that are hardworking, etc., etc. Well, we created a test. Founder Institute created a psychometric test because of all the organizations in the world, probably we are the one that is most interested in the quality of the founders at the very early stage, because at the idea stage, there is nothing else to measure. There is no business, there is no revenue, there is no clients, there is nothing. And there is just the founder. And then the question is, how do you measure the founder? Okay, you do like 10, 15 years of research, you bring the top scientists in social field psychology and data science, you do 200,000 tests all over the world, and now we have the data to tell you that IQ doesn't matter. Believe it or not. This is what the data says. I also have the data that proves that good founders are everywhere. We in Bulgaria, we in Eastern Europe, we in Southeastern Europe, and from what I feel here, feels kind of the same, we kind of underestimate ourselves, and we think that those guys over there in the US, to the West, they are somehow different. They are better at entrepreneurship. Well, the data says no. There are three important qualities for a startup founder. Again, this is the data speaking, I can't be that smart. There are three important qualities of a startup founder that helps them go from 0 to 1, from having an idea to having something moving. And this is being curious, really, really, really curious, being persistent, don't give up whatever comes at you, and being self-reliant. You should be able to roll up your sleeves. That's symbolic, I usually don't do this. Roll up your sleeves and do it yourself. And those are the things that you don't actually realize at first when you see a successful founder. You see a lot of different things, but those are the important ones.
Can you find just a follow-on quick question, and then we go to the solutions? Do you find some differences between the founders from CE region and emerging markets and the Western countries? I mean, any one thing.
Yeah.
Plus and the minus.
Okay. I had this experience. One of my cohorts about 2 years ago included people from the Netherlands and from Turkey as well. So diagonally in Europe. So I had in one group, 70 people, different mindsets. The main difference is that those guys solve different types of problems. Those over there from the Netherlands, they were solving problems that they see in their society. And those guys in Southeastern Europe, they solve their problems, and the problems are different. The problems in the Turkish startups were how to improve our English language so we can be more successful in our profession. The problems with the Netherlands was psychological health and well-being. You see that over there, the society is a little bit different and therefore imposes different problems to people. But otherwise, founders are the same. They just see different problems and solve different problems.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit the challenges and the opportunity that we have. I would ask every of you, just in 30 seconds, answer the two questions. One is that, what is the biggest myth about the investing in emerging markets? Founders, biggest myth.
Biggest myth, I would say, are they sophisticated enough? Are they sophisticated enough to bring sophisticated tech? Most probably, are they, because we're based in the GCC, and those are wealthy countries, do they do it always as a part-time, or it's a full-time job for them to be an entrepreneur? The second myth is pretty well debatable, but the first myth is definitely, today in the region we have the smartest people. I used to be for a decade in the Silicon Valley. This is where I had a big part of my career, and I decided to leave. I decided to leave because I saw what's happening in the region, I saw what's happening in the MENA. I speak the language, I understand the culture, and I said, oh my God, if you move now, you're part of pioneering something. In the Silicon Valley, you're one more smart person potentially to do good, right? And and when I relocated, everyone was telling me, oh my, you're coming from San Francisco to here, then it should be super disappointing. Are you still stimulated intellectually? And I'm finding this one of the smartest people I ever met in the region. So, like us expats traveled and came back, or just everyone is so well educated now. So that myth is definitely inaccurate, I would say.
Yağiz?
So generally, the emerging market founders think that we should begin at the biggest market. Yes, you should, but they think that, okay, we begin in Georgia, the market is not too much, but actually they should begin, yes, from Georgia, but their customers should be in the global market. They think that we should first begin in Georgia, then maybe Central Asia, Turkey, there. No, you should begin very first time with your global product. So this is really important. People think that we have to begin as locally big market. No, you don't need locally big market. You can begin from Georgia, you can begin from any 1 million, 3 million country, then you can sell your product to the global side, into developed markets with the one click. You don't need to be there to sell your product, because your product is digital. So the thing is pretty important there. And every year, I guess, I'm speaking in Georgia, and then I will just tell you that please remember last summer your Georgian national team success. So, I mean, like, the football team is, I mean, just were successful greatly, and they were a good team, and they focused. They have two superstars, Kvaratskhelia and Mikhail, and they were successful. So every founder should emphasize with the Georgian national team, and that they can go global and they can do anything.
Okay, bye.
My take on this is I frequently speak with regional investors, high net worth individuals, family offices, and some of them are skeptical about investing in regional startups. They think it's still early. But my belief is that it's late, because our region is the last untapped market for successful cases. And in the next 3 or 5 years, a new wave of unicorns or large M&As will come from regional founders, regional startups. And I think that we should kind of continue to believe and support and invest in regional startups.
Ivaylo.
What I see and what I believe needs to be changed is the way we see ourselves here. There is this perception that people here are kind of not here, regionally, that includes Bulgaria and my country, that people are bad in some way, that they will be not honest enough, that they will be not good enough, etc., etc. This is simply not true. We don't believe in ourselves enough, we don't like ourselves enough, and if we change that, things will happen in a different way. And that's the myth that I don't like, is we are not good enough. We are more than good enough.
Great. My last question for all of you, and very quick answers from each of you. I mean, it's two parts of this question. The one is that except money, what the superpower you would give to the emerging market founder, and a second, in a one word, what the audience from today should take from this panel. One word.
So I give them the power of having public markets for IPOs. That they would need it. We see a lot of M&As, more and more, better and better in the region, excellent ones, but we still need to prove the IPO market in that sense. This is to prove. Now, what to keep from this panel, coming back to the title, right? Definitely we're seeing a lot of innovations in the MENA region. It's not only about copy-paste, which is fine as well, but we are seeing innovations, things starting from scratch from the region, and it's definitely the moment to look at it closer.
Thank you.
For the superpower, I will choose self-confidence. I mean, I put it in the founder's self-confidence. And second, I guess I choose that for this panel, Georgians do the best events. I will give that to everyone.
Ivaylo or Abay?
Yes, thank you. I think that from my side, the superpower should be ability to fail. Taking into consideration our regional mentality, I think that failure shouldn't be shame. It should be considered as a part of the process, and we should learn some lessons. And regarding second question, I think it's have a global ambitions, go global.
Okay. And the last one,
okay,
but not least one.
Well, thank you. My superpower is to simplify things. I can take a complex issue, a complex problem, and make it simple for you. If you want to test me, I'll be around, and so reach out to me and give me a challenge. And one thing to remember, believe in yourself.
Okay, we have to thank you, our panelists. Thank you very much.